Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
That was my Jim Nance impression. How was it? Was it good?
Hello. Hello. You know that vine of the old professor walking in every single day? Hello. 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 Do you
No,
not
I
know
haven't
that?
thought of Vine in a hot minute, but
Well,
R.I.P. Vine.
it's good stuff.
R.I.P. Vine. How was your weekend? Let's do a weekend around with Ashley Pickle.
Not very exciting. It was fine. Just got a lot of crap that I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it.
Yeah, now's the time of year. These weekends are very precious. I did a lot of yard stuff this weekend because the next 4 weekends are really spoken for.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be full-on magazine season. It's already magazine season, but it's going to be full-on letting it rip magazine season kind of from here on out. And so I was like, I had to go to Lowe's.
I love Lowe's.
I do too. I know I've said this before. I love the hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to be brand specific, but I do love the hardware store. Although Lowe's, good call. We're looking for an official home improvement partner of Texas Football Today.
Correct.
So I do love the hardware store. I've said before that I would 100% buy a candle that smells like the hardwood store, the hardware store, because it's got that great scent.
It does.
It's a top 5 store smell.
Yeah.
It's like the pretzel place in the mall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Tire shop. I love the tire shop.
That's fine.
It smells like clean rubber. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, no, I'd rather have like a clean grass type smell.
Okay, yeah, but the hardware store is certainly in that upper.
It's
on the Mount Rushmore of store smells.
I love going to hardware
It's great.
stores. I do that a lot on the weekends.
So Friday night, after the boys went to bed, I ran out and made a late night run to the hardware store because that's just the kind of
you like
sexy world that we live in. Anyway, I obviously this is on me because I just don't spend enough time there. A labyrinth. No idea where anything is.
A big thing, like this is prime. Every single store basically has the signs up at the top of like, oh, this aisle has this and stuff on it. I feel like a lot of times you don't read those, especially in like a grocery store, because you can kind of like glance down the aisle and know, oh, okay, everything's going to be here. Lowe's or Home Depot or anything like that, I definitely am looking up the whole time to figure out where I'm going.
You never feel dumber than when you're just wandering around the hardware store. And I know that they've got people all over to help you, but also it was like at night and they were on probably as minimal amount of people as possible because they were probably 30 minutes away from close. All I needed was some weed and feed and one of those hand spreaders, right? So got that done. Then Saturday went back, and this time I wasn't alone because this time Hank came with.
Nice.
And let me tell you,
I bet that rolled.
that dude wants to know everything about everything.
That's
at
good.
this point. I let him pick out one of the. We had to buy a new sprinkler. I let him pick out the sprinkler.
Nice.
I limited it to the ones that I was comfortable with, but I'm gonna let him pick out a sprinkler and stuff like that. But then, and this is the thing with kids, we were going to checkout, and we were in the self-checkout thing. We got like 5 things. Not a big deal. Also, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And Hank, for some reason, one of these things had like an American flag hanging from it. Just one, from the little thing that said like aisle, like check out counter number 7, like that little American flag hanging from it. Hank got it in his mind while we were waiting in line. He's like, I want to go to that one. Well, that wasn't the one that opened up. That was number 3 that opened up. So we went to aisle number 3. This felt like the most offended I've ever made my son. He was so offended by the idea. He's like, I want to go to the flag one, Dad. Like, why can't we just go to the flag one? I'm like, well, because I want to go home and
there's a
get
line,
this work, and
you
like
know.
we're burning daylight here, buddy. Like we got this thing going. So he like mopes the car and stuff like that. So I had to stop at the gas station on the way home and get him like he wanted gummy bears.
You're soft.
He's like, maybe we can just get a treat on the way home instead. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll just stop there. I still want to do it. I am soft. No, I don't dispute that at all. I'm 100%.
My dad would have told me to hush and carry the bag to the car.
Yeah, I know. He would have been like, carry this mulch.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
4-year-old.
oh, you want to cry about not getting to the flag? Here's a 50-pound bag of mulch. Figure out a way to get it to the car.
But at the same time, he wanted to go there because he loves America, so I can't get too mad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't get too mad.
That's fair.
Anyway.
I never have the problem of having to like. Sometimes I have the opposite problem of like I actually do know where I'm going in those stores, and I'm having to fiend off every single person that works there, because rightfully so, a lot of times I feel like women walk into that store and it's like, hey ma'am, how can I help you? You know, and they're just being nice, but every single person starts to, and finally I'm like, okay guys, I'm just looking for like a folding chair or something,
Guys,
you know,
all
like
I'm looking for is a light switch cover.
Yeah, it's
just
like,
point me to that direction and I can do the rest.
What was the one? There was one not too long ago. Oh yeah, I was looking for, I don't know if you ever use these for your outside lights, but they used to have ones where you could plug in, it was like the little light socket, and it had it has like a power outlet to it, for like a porch or something outside, and that's all I was looking for. I knew where I was going, like I knew where they were. I must have gotten asked 17 different times. I was like, I'm good, I've got it, guys. Thank you.
I appreciate the help. I appreciate the offer.
That the same thing happens. I'll say this, like that's the same thing happens at like an Ulta, and maybe I'm just not good at doing makeup, or I just walk in when I don't have makeup. They're like, can I help you? Like,
no.
You look lost. And I'm like, I'm just ugly. I know where the mascara is.
Are you lost?
Yeah.
Person who's clearly never put on makeup in their life?
Literally, I'm telling you, there is between a home improvement store and then a makeup store, there are never customer service that like run up to you more. And I'm like, okay, I'm ugly, and I also know what size drill bits I need. So really, I'm good on both.
Like offensive customers, not offensive. I don't mean that word, but like presumptuous,
overwhelming. Like it's
service.
Just overwhelming.
What that reminds me of, and we'll start the show here in a moment, is like sometimes my wife and I will order sushi, and I'll go pick up sushi, and it's what I perceive to be a relatively like reasonable amount of sushi for two people, and they give you like 6 chopsticks, and I'm like,
no, I'm just hungry.
I'm just hungry.
Yeah,
like,
but it happens to me in Ulta all the time. I walk in for like one thing or like a specific shape in there. Can we help you? Do you need help?
Oh, hun.
Yeah.
I was like, look at you.
Just let me be ugly.
They try to like put you in a chair and be like, let's fix this right now.
I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't know what I'm getting with makeup. That's why I'm not getting makeup. I'm getting shampoo, because I need shampoo. I know what I'm doing with shampoo.
There you go. All right, hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program coming to you via the internet. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305 915 956 972 512.
512 makes sense. No, I haven't ever been out in East Texas. Where's 972?
972 is DFW, like north.
Yeah.
409?
Yeah.
That's
Denton.
Beaumont.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's 469.
Oh.
She's Ashley Pickle.
I got most of them. 512 is Austin. I know that.
903, it's East Texas.
Yeah.
Today is...
Hi, friends.
Yes.
Sorry.
Today is Monday, April 24th, 2023. It's 213 days to Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Texan Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, nice.
Who is
Burleson.
41. Burleson High School.
How about that? The Elks?
After graduating high school, Clarkson declined full scholarship offers from the University of Texas, Berkeley College of Music, and the University of North Texas.
Well, that's where she went wrong.
She could have been a Mean Green.
Yeah.
But she said no.
Which is one of the most prestigious music schools
It is.
in the U.S. So, shame on you, Kelly.
It's episode 1579. On today's show, folks, we got headlines from across the state, including a rather shocking retirement in the Texas high school football world and some big transfer news across the state of Texas in college football. In the back half of the show, we'll hear from J.R. Castiano, the head coach of the Alice Coyotes. We tried to get him on last Thursday. Then his
life happens.
His boss needed to talk to him, and we were like, go stay employed. And so we got him today. So we will hear from Coach J.R. Castiano of Alice coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Daniel Agnew, Nick Morton, the Cowboys flop worse than LeBron. God darn it. And just Chad. Welcome in, fellas.
You don't know that the Cowboys flop worse than LeBron isn't a woman?
If that's a lady fella, I'm going to be very upset. I expect better.
I think I'm offended as a LeBron James fan.
Okay, but it's universally known that LeBron flops because he can.
I think
everyone
that's rude.
flops.
I think he's a star.
Well, yes.
All right, folks.
Be nice to the Cowboys.
We've got headlines. No, don't be nice to the
Draft
Cowboys.
week. It's draft week.
It is draft week. This is true. We'll do some draft stuff this week. I am particularly interested in the Cowboys in the draft.
Yes.
I think that they have some clear needs.
Mm-hmm. And they'll do the same crap that they usually do.
I'm very interested to see what they do. Like they hit gold with Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
They have drafted well in the first round recently. Just like after that, they haven't done particularly well.
Micah was a big one.
Micah's a home run.
Everyone thought that Taco Charlton was going to be great. That didn't pan out.
But that's their last bad one, though.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. We don't have time. I'll look that up. But anyway, all that's to say, very interested in what they do.
There's a lot of Texas prospects going, too.
Yeah. Like, everyone's talking about Bijan. I don't think they're going to draft Bijan.
I don't think
because
so
I don't
either.
think he's going to get to him.
No.
But what I would like them to see them do is get one of those kick-ass tight ends.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. That would make them really fun to watch.
Yes, it would.
Anyway. All right, Pickle, let's do some headlines from across the state of Texas. And we've got some news in the college football ranks to start. Scheduling news. We all love scheduling news. Sam Houston and Texas State are going to play for the first time since 2011. It's an old Southland Conference rivalry that will be renewed September 28th, 2024. They will play at NRG Stadium in Houston. It was first reported by our friends at catfans.com, confirmed by our own Ishmael Johnson. They will play September 28th, 2024. It will be the first time that they've played since Texas State transitioned from FCS. And yeah, it'll be the 93rd overall meeting. Between the two, the series dates back to 1915. I can't help but feel like this is at least part of this is Sam Houston wanting to get a rivalry game back on the schedule, knowing that the Battle of the Piney Woods is at least dormant for now.
Yeah, I love this
because they're moving up to FBS. Stephen F. Austin staying in FCS. I can't help but feel like that's at least part of this, but also just like great, awesome. I think rivalries are cool.
Oh yeah, no, this rules, and this is fun too from like an us perspective for a lot of different reasons, but especially because I think if you want to, unless Texas State takes a massive step forward like very quickly under G.J. Kinney, which is definitely not out of the realm of possibilities, I think that these two schools will be heavily competing for the same type of recruits. And that's what always makes a really fun rivalry in my mind is two teams that like it's big on the field, but it's even bigger off the field.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So very exciting there as they are going to have a new rivalry.
I love that.
A renewed rivalry between Sam Houston and Texas State coming in 2024. On to the
Transfer portal.
Transfer portal, and there's a couple of big pieces of transfer portal news. One of them is no good for the reigning national runners-up, the TCU Horned Frogs. Jordan Hudson is entering the transfer portal, their star wide receiver. He was the highest-rated signee in the class of 2022. The Garland product is entering the transfer portal. He was number 17 in our DCTF Hot 100. He was a guy who 14 catches, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns in 2022. What I think is interesting is that this comes after, I believe, the spring game. So he goes through spring ball, and then he enters the transfer portal. Very interested to see where he ends up landing there. One thing to keep an eye on is that when he committed to TCU, the guy who was in charge of his, functionally the lead recruiter for him, was Rashad Samples, who is now the wide receivers coach at Arizona State. So that could be somewhere to keep an eye on. He also spent some time at Oklahoma and at SMU. So he was also in the mix for LSU and Miami at the time, but things certainly can change. Jordan Hudson has entered the transfer portal. He can also come back to TCU. Entering the transfer portal does not mean you're transferring, but he is eligible to transfer now as he has entered the transfer portal. That is an outgoing potentially. Let's talk about a couple of incoming. One of them on the Texas Longhorns, Trill Carter, the all Big Ten defensive end from Minnesota, has transferred to Texas. He is a Georgia native. He was a Big Ten honorable mention. He had 19 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. He has started 24 games at Minnesota over the past 2 seasons. He is a guy who is known as a big run stuffer, 6'2", 300 pounds. And this feels like a really important get here for Texas to shore up the middle of that defensive line, considering Keandre Coburn and Mora Ojomo are gone. They've still got guys like Tavondre Sweat, but it will be very interesting to see where he ends up or how he fits in. But Minnesota's Trill Carter has transferred to Texas. Baylor also picks up a Texas a product, kind of roundabout, gets a guy from the University of Texas. Byron Vaughns. Byron Vaughns, you may remember as a guy who came out of Fort Worth Eastern Hills in the 2018 recruiting cycle. He played at Texas for 3 seasons, played in 10 games over 3 seasons, transferred to Utah State. He was excellent at Utah State last year. He had 4 sacks, 10.5 tackles for loss. He was the defensive MVP of the Mountain West Championship game, actually. He has entered the transfer portal, and he has landed at Baylor to play for Dave Aranda and his defense. That feels really important to get more kind of shoring up that defensive line, which does have some pieces to they need a pass rusher in the worst way, and a guy who can make an instant impact. Here's a guy, he's a senior, so he's got that experience, and a guy that kind of a hired gun here to shore up that pass rush there for Baylor, as they have brought in Byron Vaughns, the former Longhorn and Utah State defensive end, as part of their fold now. Okay.
This is a fantastic graphic headline, everything.
So, our friend Corey Hogue, the non-FBS insider here for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And in our meeting on Monday, he was just going nuts over just this message board nonsense that's going on about Lamar. So Lamar down there in Beaumont, there had been this message board stuff basically about, Lamar is going to discontinue football. They're going to discontinue football. This comes from a report from Channel 6, KFDM in Beaumont, about the cost of the Cardinals football program. That they talk about, that they talk to 2 students. The 2 students say, hey, you know what? We have to pay this athletic fee of $11 basically per semester credit hour. And that just feels like it's a waste. We shouldn't be doing that. They're frustrated because Lamar hasn't been all that good anywhere. So then somehow that turns into Facebook running wild. Oh my gosh, Lamar's going to discontinue football. And as a result, Corey Hogue has to get on the phone and talk to people at Lamar, or I shouldn't say at Lamar, sources close to the situation. Okay? I'm reading between the lines. I haven't asked Corey who his source is. I'm going to guess it's somebody at Lamar. Lamar has no plans to discontinue its football program.
Period.
The football program's bottom line could be in the black if they start winning games and give the fan base a reason to attend.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you're reading something on the internet that says, oh, man, Lamar's going to quit football, our Corey Hogue is confirming that no, there are no plans to discontinue the Lamar football program.
Well, and it's funny because from someone who, 1, worked at a student TV station and 2, worked in an athletic department for 4 years, that is a normal story that they do every single year through student media most of the time. Is, hey, how do you feel about the fees that you're having to pay and everything that gets brought up, especially at that kind of stuff. I was even at North Texas when we went through a whole process of a student vote to increase the amount. This is a yearly thing when the revenue reports comes out that you cannot just run with because every single college campus does it.
Anyway, there's
so funny.
There's some news.
Those stinking message boards.
Yes, there's some news. Okay, so elsewhere, let's go to the high school ranks, and unfortunately, some sad news to report. This came down last week. Cale Steed at PressPassSports.com had it first. Chris Ketting has retired at Canadian. He's been there for 13 seasons there as the head coach at Canadian. He is a whopping 163-25 in his 13 seasons, 3 state championships in 2 different classifications. They went back-to-back in 2A Division I, 2014, 2015, then they won again in 3A in 2020. I'll always remember that 2015 Canadian team, that Air Canada team, which was crazy good. And yeah, so he's retiring after 13 seasons. Unfortunately, one of the, I think a big reason why, he put out a press release and he cited a desire to spend more time with his family. He's been battling cognitive health issues, and has been dealing with that, which is just terrible to hear. We certainly wish him nothing but the best there at Canadian. He was unbelievable. He's been a coach for 31 years. All of it up there, almost all of it up there in the Panhandle.
Just a real nice
Hereford.
Guy too.
Great dude. He was a former THS. He was a former big. I don't know what his title ended up being at the THSCA, but he was heavily involved. He was heavily involved with the THSCA. Well respected. It's of course he led them to great heights. They every December you could set your watch by Canadian versus Gunner in the semifinal. He has been a remarkable head coach, and certainly we wish him the very best moving forward. But Chris Ketting has retired there at Canadian, which is, wish him all the best. It's a sad situation there with him battling cognitive health issues. So keep an eye on what's going on at Canadian. We'll bring you the very latest. Elsewhere, other headlines from across the state. This one kind of came out of nowhere. I'll be honest. I got a tip about this last week. Or late last week, and I texted Step, and I was like, hey, have you heard anything about this? And then he chased it down. West Rusk is open. Nick Harrison is leaving to join the staff at Bullard Brookhill. He has been the head coach there at West Rusk for the last 4 seasons, going 37-12. They've been really, really good. He was the offensive coordinator back he was their offensive coordinator, got promoted at the age of 29 back in 2019. He was spectacular there, and now he is going to move on to the next level. But again, been very successful, 23-4 in the last 2 seasons, a regional semifinalist in 3A Division II. But West Rusk is open as Nick Harrison leaving for the staff at Bullard Brookhill. So certainly a very interesting move there. Hewitt Midway defensive coordinator Karen Johnson is going to be the next head coach at Waco University. We talked about Kent Laster taking the job at Denton Braswell. They've moved very quickly to hire Hewitt Midway's defensive coordinator Karen Johnson. You may remember David Smoke of 365 Sports, was our buddy there, was the first to report this. He played college ball there at Baylor. He got his career cut short by injury, went into the coaching world, and has been on staff at Katy Maid Creek, Magnolia, and then Waco Connolly, and most recently there at Hewitt Midway as their defensive coordinator. But he will be taking over at Waco U as Karen Johnson is going to be the next head coach at Waco University. Two more headlines. Frisco offensive coordinator Blake Yancey is going to be the next head coach there at Whitewright out there in 2A level. Blake Yancey has been the offensive coordinator there at Frisco for the last 9 seasons. Been the last offensive coordinator for the last 9 seasons for Frisco. One thing I think is really interesting is, so Frisco runs the wing T. Mm-hmm. Blake Yancey has been really integral in kind of revolutionizing that Frisco wing T, and basically, I hate to say it, but like opening it up and throwing the ball a bit more and making it really dangerous. They have had one of the most improved offenses over the past couple of years, thanks in large part to the coaching styles of Coach Yancey. And so Blake Yancey going to be the next head coach at Whitewright, the Frisco offensive coordinator, getting a head coaching job. Finally, Pickle, this weekend,
let's go.
we had 7-on-7. We had our first state 7-on-7 qualifying tournament there in Melissa, and 2 teams have been qualified. DeSoto, they beat Frisco Reedy in the state qualifying round.
Last year's champions?
Yep. Trying to go back-to-back after winning state 7-on-7 last year at the Division I level. And Midlothian Heritage also qualifies. They beat Arlington Lamar in the state qualifying round. So our first 2 tickets punched to College Station. Midlothian Heritage and DeSoto will be playing at state 7-on-7 coming up here in June in College Station, and we will have complete coverage on TexasFootball.com. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. We hope you will consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber with our Dave Campbell's All Access subscription. That's right, 3 magazines. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Summer Edition, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising and Recruiting Edition, and Dave Campbell's Texas Basketball, all mailed to you before they hit newsstands, including the upcoming 2023 Summer Edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You get a year's worth of exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com, including premium podcasts like Tep and Step, great recruiting analysis from Greg Powers and our recruiting staff, insight from our college football staff, plus predictions of every Texas high school football game, rankings of every Texas high school football team, a year's worth of exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com, plus Dave Campbell's Texan Live. That's right, our streaming platform where you can stream live more than 1,300 live Texas high school events, including hundreds and hundreds of Texas high school football games and hundreds of Texas high school football playoff games, all for the low price of $49.95 for the entire year. That's right, $49.95. That's like half of what you're going to pay anywhere else for all this good stuff. So go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas Football All Access subscriber. Makes a great gift as well. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Now, word from our friends.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
The 83rd KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, the most historic and prestigious event in senior golf, kicks off an unprecedented run of major championships coming to PGA Frisco over the next 11 years. From May 24th to May 28th, join us as the best golfers over the age of 50 compete to have their name etched on the Alfred S. Bourne Trophy. Past senior PGA champions have included true legends of the game like Sarazen, Snead, Palmer, Nicklaus, Player, and Watson. A limited number of hospitality, pro-am, and ticket opportunities remain available for you to be a part of the first major championship at PGA Frisco. And keep in mind, corporate clients, and ticket purchasers at this May's KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship will receive priority access to offerings at future major championships held at PGA Frisco, including the 2025 KPMG Women's PGA Championship and the 2027 PGA Championship. Visit srpga.com for more information. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's go south, way south in a lot of ways, down to Jim Wells County to talk with the new head coach of the Alice Coyotes. We're pleased to be joined by Coach J.R. Castiano. Coach, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys for having me on, and thank you guys for all y'all do for Texas high school football.
What has the last few weeks, last couple months or so been like for you in your world?
Oh, it's a typical spring semester, and talk about all the different sports that are going on. A lot of people think that head football coaches or athletic directors get some time off in the spring after football season, but really it's a busy time of the year for us with baseball, softball, track that are going on, and especially when you get hired at another job and you're trying to fill positions and hire coaches and get your team put together and all that good stuff. So it's been 100 miles per hour, man. It's been good. That's the business we signed up for. So
you are coming off of a really successful stint at Taft, and before you get hired there at Allison, and the board meeting happens. You're unanimously approved. Everyone's talking about what a great fit you are for Alice. But I kind of want to flip that question on its head. Why was Alice the right move for you? You had a good thing going at Taft. What was it about Alice that drew you to the Coyotes?
I grew up in the Coastal Bend in small little Refugio, and actually I still live in Refugio. But growing up here in the Coastal Bend, I've always been intrigued by just the traditions that Alice brings to the table, just the support from the community, the participation numbers that they've had, the toughness of the kids, the blue collar type community. Have always been intrigued by that, being here in the Coastal Bend. So I've always, when the job opened up, thought it'd be a great fit for myself, and went after it. So yeah.
We mentioned your time at Taft. You took over a program that when you had arrived, they had won just 3 of their previous 20 games.
Right.
And flash forward a couple years, and you end up winning 30 games in 4 seasons.
Right.
Let me just ask the dumb question: how'd you do that? What was the key to turning around that program so quickly?
I really think it's building relationships more than anything, and not just with the kids, but building relationships with parents, building relationship with administration, so they believe in you, right? And when you get to build relationships with people and positive relationships that I'm talking about, then people feel like they don't want to let you down. So I'm a big believer in building positive relationships with kids, with parents, with administration, and that way people don't want to let you down, and you get kids to do anything for you and show up to work every day, work hard, and things like that. Now, I'd be remiss if you get a JJ Acosta that comes through a program, that obviously helps tremendously as well.
Yeah, we've heard that too. That players make coaches look pretty good too.
Exactly.
Talking with Jared.
So we've had some great players there in Taft that have come through the program while I was there, and I always tell people too. We get opportunities as coaches to better our career. And it's nothing. It's really nothing that we do. It's the kids that work for us every day and make us look good. So I'm very, very, very. It's been a tremendous benefit to have great athletes on my side.
Talk with J.R. Castiano, the new head coach of the Alice Coyotes here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. So, Coach, you get hired back in early March there at Alice. When you talk to your guys there at Alice and you address them for the first time as their head coach, what was your message to them?
It's been the same message that I've given at all different types of schools, and Number one was attendance, and I think people take attendance for granted. It was basically, hey guys, you got to be here every single day. As coaches, we must be here as well, but the kids got to be here every day in order for us to work with you. And number two was discipline. We're gonna make you walk a straight line. That's the only way I know. How to coach. It's going to be a discipline type deal where we tell you exactly how to do things and when to do them and what time to be here. And if you don't do that, then there's going to be consequences for that. Effort was tremendous. We got to have tremendous effort in everything we do. Got to have a great attitude in all that we do. And we're trying to be the toughest kids in South Texas. So it's just that same old message about attendance, discipline, effort, attitude, and toughness that we preach on a daily basis. So,
I know you're still getting to know your team and understanding exactly what you guys are going to have come the fall. Do you have a feeling quite yet on where this 2023 Coyotes team is going to hang their hat? What they're going to be about? Where they have a chance to be really special?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's just the toughness and the work ethic that Alice is going to bring to the table on a weekly basis. I mean, these kids show up every day. They work their tails off, and I've been at different places and different programs, but this place is just a little bit different. The community support, the toughness of the kids, the work ethic. So that's what we're going to lean. That's what we're going to lean on the most is participation numbers, the toughness, outworking our opponent, and showing up and let that take care of the scoreboard.
It's J.R. Castiano, the head coach at Alice here in Texas football today. Get involved in the conversation and hashtag TF today. Coach, you are a defensive guy. You've kind of cut your teeth on the defensive side. This is a team that last year under Coach Kyle Atwood was pretty darn good defensively. How do you kind of build on that and from a defensive philosophy perspective, what are you going to be preaching to your guys?
I think anytime you talk about defense, you got to make sure that you're sound in everything that you do. Defense obviously is just about tackling. We don't get too fancy with what we do on defense. We just preach tackling and making sure that we still bring a physical part of the game that we know has been taken out a little bit from our game here in the past. But just lining up in a sound defense. And getting after people, getting to the football, not changing a whole lot of what they've done, trying to do all the little things right, and not getting beat because of being misaligned or anything of that nature.
And finally, Coach, you mentioned that you're a Coastal Bend guy. Your new district there is in district. There in District 16 4A Division 1, you'll get a snoot full of the Coastal Bend, that's for sure. Teams like Cal Allen, La Feria, Tulsa Midway, etc. When you take a look at and I know you're focused on your guys right now, but when you take a look at District 16 4A Division 1, I'm interested in how you see what you guys are going to be up against when district play rolls around.
Cal Allen is Cal Allen, right? I mean, we all know what they bring to the table and what they've brought to the table for the past 30 years. So we know that that's always going to be a tough opponent for us. TM is on the rise. They're getting a lot of kids there, and they're getting them out to participate. So they definitely are on the rise there at Tulsa Midway. La Feria down south. We just went to a track meet there, and I tell you what, those guys can run down there, boys and girls. So anytime you got good track programs, that always equates to somewhat of a good football program. So we're going to have our hands full each week and week out, and we'll definitely respect our opponents, but we'll do all we can do to outwork them and out-hit them, and making sure that we come out on the right side of the scoreboard.
He's J.R. Castiano. He's the new head coach of the Alice Coyotes. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and can't wait to see what you guys do down there in Alice.
Yes, sir. I thank you guys for having myself on. Thank you guys for all that you do for Texas high school football. I appreciate everything that y'all do.
Absolutely. There you go. J.R. Castiano, head coach, the Alice Coyotes, join us here, Texas Football Today. Excited to see what he does. It was a real turnaround there. He took over a program. They were 3-7 the year before he got there. They were 0-10 the year before. And he mentioned it. Having a guy like, JJ Acosta, their quarterback, helps.
Oh, yeah.
That helps you win your first district championship. In my lifetime, 1986 was the last time they won a district championship before last year. So that certainly helps. But he's probably selling himself a little short. He's a ball coaching jack.
Well, yeah, and we focus so much on what they did on the offensive side of the ball. Like you said, he's a defensive guy, and that's really what I felt like pushed him to that district championship was, yes, they had superstar, but they had the supporting cast to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, what's really interesting, and I'm reading this from our friend Lynn Hayward at the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. He mentions that Coach Castellano was a finalist for the job at Alice back in 2016. When it came open, Justin Evans got the job, now at Corpus Christi Miller. He was there for a year before Kyle Atwood got the job there at Alice. But he got there eventually, took him an extra step, but did really good things there at Taft. And he's a guy who's got history at Refugio, Lamar, Cal Allen, Beeville, Jones. He's coached all over the place, all over there in South Texas, and he knows his way around football, and he's a well-respected guy down there in the South Texas area. I'm excited to see what he does with a big, rich, proud program like Alice. It's going to be fun to watch down there in Jim Wells County. We appreciate Coach Castiano hopping on with us. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I guess something for people to look forward to is that Mallory's going to be filling in on Texas Football Today later this week.
Wait, what?
So, yeah, I've got meetings. So, you should be people should be more excited for that. You only have to deal with me
But you know how I feel about Mallory. And you know how I feel about change. Both of which, not a fan. Right?
Many people are saying.
That's a joke. I love Mallory. Yeah, it'll be fun. She's in all week or what?
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday. Okay. We'll have a party.
Yeah, I figured so.
We'll let it rip.
As they do. As one does.
As we do here on Texas Football Today. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to J.R. Castiano, the head coach of the Alice Coyotes, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today. Have Tuesday.